you ever found yourself wondering what circumstances can police search a car without your permission? That's a very good question, as it concerns many of us, and for good reasons. Welcome to Lawyers, where we dive deep into the legal issues that matter to you. So by way of background, my name's Dennis. I'm a criminal defense lawyer here in Sydney and a legal podcaster, and we're going to run you through it because, honestly, I've experienced it myself with police. So today we're exploring the idea that hits close to home for many drivers, in New South Wales in particular, police search powers under the law. So the main law is going to be called what's called LEPRA, which is the Law Enforcement Powers and Responsibilities Act 2002, which is commonly referred as LEPRA. But before we unravel this whole legal puzzle, we make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more insightful on legal explorations. So the $1 million question, what's it about? No, it's not like America. This is very different in New South Wales. So in scenario for you, imagine driving home one evening and suddenly you're stopped by police. They want to search your car. Do they have the right? Well, it's different, but the principle of this is under LEPRA. It's under what circumstances they can do this without a warrant. Let's find out together. By way of background again, I've happened to meet many times before I was a lawyer, and I wanted to run you through it because I didn't know this back then. So in New South Wales, police powers to search your vehicles are not limitless. They operate under strict conditions, which is a balance between law enforcement with individual rights. Again, LEPRA is going to be the primary act. They have to follow that. It's like their rules and guidelines. It outlines specific scenarios where police can search your vehicles. These include acting under a search warrant, having driver consent, or possessing a reasonable suspicion. Yes, reasonable suspicion is very broad in nature, and we'll go into that. But what exactly is reasonable suspicion? And the term has been defined through case law over the years. It's much more than a hunch, but doesn't require certainty to need conviction. Again, a nice old broad language of it. So one instance would be police cannot search you basically solely on a criminal record. Or the fact that you seem nervous, they can't just do that. Again, that would be under the principle of the hunch. They need proper suspicion. Okay, so what would you do if you were stopped and didn't believe the police had a reasonable basis for a search? Let us know in your comments because, again, my experience, I've always said yes because I didn't know my rights. It's crucial to know that if you consent to a search, any evidence that found can be used against you, even if the police didn't initially have a lawful reason to search. It's all about consent. If you give that consent, that's where they go into it. So here's a key point. Police don't need to tell you where you can refuse consent. They normally don't. They just go with the procedure and hope you don't ask questions. But if they seek you to gain consent, that's a different story. It's all about the circumstance, case-by-case basis. So police can also search your car if they have a search warrant. But did you know that during a random breath test, or what we like to call New South Wales and RBT, cannot be used as a pretext to search your car without other grounds? So if you're just driving through RBT, they can't just be like, all right, we're going to search you because we pulled you over. No. So ensuring that the separation between the powers intended to protect your rights and on the road, very, very crucial because it makes a big difference to what they find or what they don't find. So what happens if the search is deemed illegal? In America, you'll see a lot of times if it's unwarranted, that no evidence can be used. It's not like that in Australia. So evidence obtained that can potentially be excluded from court proceedings, but it's not a guarantee. It's a balancing act. The court will weigh several factors. This includes the seriousness of the offense and how the evidence was obtained. So it comes down to like a lot of things, and it's very hard to sum up in a video, but this whole balance between police powers and individual acts should be managed. You gotta share your thoughts, and I'll give you one scenario. So if you're in a situation where police want to search your vehicle, it's important to stay very, very calm. Don't hesitate them, especially do not hinder them, because ultimately that would be much worse than the search itself in most cases. Clearly state that you do not consent to the search, but you do not physically resist. Again, this can protect your rights while avoiding additional charges. Don't be okay? Navigating the legal system can be very complex, but knowing your rights is the first step towards protecting them. Found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and don't forget to share this video. And I wanted to share one quick example, whereas with police themselves. So in this particular case, it was actually with my client. They pulled him over without a warrant, without anything, but they really just used his criminal record and his antecedents, right? And they said he was nervous. They tried to come up with all this stuff. The issue was that they just genuinely didn't have any reasonable suspicion. There was no calls. There was no people saying, oh, I see the person in this car doing X, Y, and Z. It was none of that. Really just police spies in this particular case. But the issue is that they found it was 28 grams of cocaine in his car, and it was an illegal phone and some fake IDs and small things like that. So the issue with the court is, even if I tried to raise the argument of a legal search, there's a whole principle of balancing act. So if the drugs itself or whatever they find outweighs the, illegal act, then it's usually admitted in New South Wales. But for instance, same sort of scenario, if police pull you over and they just search you without consent and all that, and they find a little bit of marijuana, generally speaking, that would not be admissible in court. So it's really just how the court determines, and it's very hard to say on this particular cases, oh yeah, that will definitely be it, or that won't be it. But if you like that, like I said before, subscribe, and I love giving these sort of insights.